Okay. The star of the morning, star of the webinar, OpenAI's Whisper model. Really excited about this because this really is a very practical application for AI. So lots of cool demos at NAB. We were incredibly inspired to see all of the work that many companies are doing. But let's face it, a lot of them are more, technology demos. They're definitely in the future. Some of them are not really that viable today in terms of going into a production environment, and so we are, taking kind of an opposite approach. And our approach was to say, hey, what is the most useful application where AI can improve, again, what is our whole value proposition? It's efficiency, it's cost reduction, it's doing a whole lot more with a whole lot less. So you'll remember the reference where I said that commonly, most of our customers, if they have 10 servers in their rack that are doing, video encoding, video processing, literally 9 of them are either just physically removed or they're able to be recommissioned and redeployed for some other service in the network. So we really do believe that this feature is a game changer. So this particular diagram is pulled just directly off. If you go to the OpenAI Whisper website, just Google OpenAI Whisper, you're going to see this. So there's absolutely no magic here. There's a couple points in this slide. The first point is that we are running the model. It is highly optimized, and I'm going to let Ampere talk about what they're doing. It's highly optimized for ARM, but the ARM CPU architecture by running this on ARM is actually faster than some of the other architecture choices. I'm not going to steal Ampere's thunder, but the point of this particular slide is if you've done some research, you're familiar with Whisper, this is not some sort of a truncated, a cut down, you might say neutered version. This is full Whisper. We can run all of the library sizes. Obviously, the larger the library, of course, is going to cut down the throughput, and we understand how those things work. And again, we'll share a bit more details about that as we move on. But I want to wrap up here before we go to a very short live demonstration, because we also believe in not just showing you PowerPointware, but actually giving you a demonstration to see that it really works, that it really is transcoding in real time, that it is inserting the speaker's subtitles for the speaker. So this is the Whisper ASR, the automatic speech recognition workflow. And there's a couple things that I need to call your attention to. First of all, very important to understand that all of this is running inside FFmpeg. Why is that important? It's important because this isn't some custom implementation that can only run on certain configurations, or we're not bound to some really tight constraints in terms of the platform. This is FFmpeg. This is FFmpeg 6.1. 7 just came out. Obviously, we will shortly be optimized for 7, and it will run on 7. On the left, you have your input streams. It can bring in up to 30 input streams. And on the far right, the output, you will see it will output a full HLS ladder. We're calling them channels. Each channel could have 4 or 5. It could have more bit rates. It just depends on the pixel count. So if you wanted a traditional where you have, a couple 1080p's, you have a 720p, you have a 480p, and maybe you have a 360p, for example, you could then have 30 channels output. And the point is that Whisper is running its ASR process for each one of these channels. So each channel is being subtitled. And this is all from a 1RU server. So this isn't a rack of servers. This isn't, a server to do Whisper and another one to do, the video encoding and another one to do the packaging. That's the old way. That's how we kind of have to do it if we're stuck in the cloud, right? But when you move to hardware, this stuff becomes much simpler and certainly a heck of a lot more dense in what you can do. So just moving through the center here. So the first thing that happens is we obviously have a demuxer to separate the video from the audio because we do have to process the audio track for Whisper. And that is all done on the Ampere CPU. The red block above is everything the VPU is doing. So it's doing the decoding. It's doing any overlays that you might have. So you want to do some sort of overlays on your video stream. And of course, it's also the overlay that is then inserting the subtitles. It's scaling, so it's creating all the ladder variants, and then it's encoding in H.264, HEVC, or AV1. And then it's going to the packager. Obviously, FFmpeg is able to handle that for us. We're combining the audio tracks and the subtitle, and there you go.
Hi, I'm Steven, an engineer at NETINT. I'm currently streaming live to the BitStreams quantum engine, BQE, to transcode the stream and apply live subtitling. At NETINT, we've integrated Whisper, an automatic speech recognition model by OpenAI, into BQE to provide live subtitling. Currently, our latency with Whisper is roughly an additional 10 seconds on top of regular streaming latency, but we are continuously improving our implementation and aim to reduce this latency in the future. With a Quadra video server running BQE, 30 live streams can be transcoded simultaneously, each to 5 resolution HLS or dash ladders, all with live subtitling by Whisper.